I would like to welcome all of you. Now,
Hello?
we'll be focusing on our advanced management program for infrastructure.
Huh.
Now, the agenda of our session
Oh.
is going to be understanding impact of COVID-19 on the industry. We will give an overview on advanced management program for infrastructure. We'll listen to a few LMs and we will sum up our discussion with the key takeaways. We'll also be administering a poll and I hope you find it interesting. And then we'll open our session for question answer. Now let's look at impact of COVID-19 on the industry. Now, if you look at the impact of COVID-19 on the industry, first of all, probably for the first time that I remember that we have realized the importance of the virtual world. I was reading an article which was published on 24th March 2020, just a couple of days back, by Timothy in Harvard Business Review. He said, humans are hypersocial creatures who long to belong. They find it more comfortable to work in a team. The COVID-19 virus has actually disrupted our entire workplace. More importantly, it has done it at a speed which is unbelievable. In less than a week, you have organizations across every sector, across many countries, have sent millions of employees home to work remotely. We have sent our students back home and told them that we'll be conducting all our classes only online. And it has happened overnight. In many cases, as I was talking to industry community, it has happened without warning. And in many cases, without preparation of any kind. Managers have been thrust into the position of leading virtual teams, and many of them for the first time. I do not know, maybe we have a couple of very senior people from industry. A friend of mine, Prasant Sharma, I don't know whether he's on the call. I mean, he works for IBM. They are used to be working with virtual teams. But in manufacturing, if you look at the infrastructure industry, the manufacturing industry, people are not used to be working with virtual teams. Now, if you look at what has really happened from 19th of March, where the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 was around 218,000. Now, this number in a span of about 10 days moved up to a large number of 663,748. So more than 663,000. And this means an increase by 203% in a span of just 10 days. Now, this is something that we never thought can happen in real life. Now, if you look at COVID-19, it doesn't recognize geographical boundaries. It doesn't recognize the difference between rich and poor. It doesn't recognize the difference between common people, politicians, top government officials. We find Charles Prince of Wales getting impacted, Canadian Prime Minister's wife, the Spanish Prime Minister's wife, you find the Deputy Prime Minister of Spain, you find the Health Minister of UK, you also find the Prime Minister of UK, actors, actresses, including in Iran, the person who was head of the Iranian counter coronavirus task force. So it has happened across, including the French culture minister, footballers, and so on and so forth. One of the biggest problems has been that if you look at the capacity of healthcare, right? Capacity of healthcare for the first time has been questioned because the rate at which coronavirus is spreading, it is questioning our ability to ramp up the capacity. So capacity has become a big problem. If you look at the global impact, let's spend a minute on this. If you look at aviation industry, is in deep trouble. If you look at India, Kingfisher was gone, Jet Airways were gone, and one of the few airlines like Indigo, which was probably making money, all of them are now in deep trouble because tourism is impacted. Business travels are impacted. The Chinese tourism, which contributes 16% to international tourism spend, is going to really impact the global tourism industry. Automotive industry is in big trouble. Hubei province, where it all started, which contributes 9% to total Chinese auto production. Now that's linked with global supply chain, and that's impacted. If you look at European Union and APEC countries, over there, travel and tourism contributes 7 to 20% to national GDP. In Europe, we know that automotive industry makes a big contribution and their linkage of supply chain with China. If you look at US, where spending on travel, tourism, and entertainment is about 7% of US GDP, it's in trouble. Many analysts are talking about a $1 trillion loss globally, but I would tend to believe that is going to be significantly higher than this. If you look at impact on infrastructure and real estate, India imports 11% of iron and steel and 15% of inorganic chemicals from China. And I think sourcing is going to be a big issue, and it will take time to look for alternate sourcing strategies. We tend to believe that the real estate and infrastructure industry will face a huge challenge. Costs are going to go up. There will be a reduction in margin. You would also find that high-end luxury real estate that relies heavily on import of fixtures and furniture from China is likely to be impacted. Italy, which is world's leading supplier of luxury construction, stone and fit-out goods, and also exports some of the best furniture all over the world, is highly impacted. Now, if you look at power generation under construction projects, I think they are going to be impacted. India's electricity generation capacity, both non-renewable and renewable, are highly reliant on Chinese technology. We have around 3,000 megawatts of renewable solar power projects under construction. And these projects are going to be impacted. We have 30% of 62,000 megawatts, that's 62 gigawatts of under construction coal-based power projects, which are reliant on Chinese equipment, are going to be impacted. You look at companies like NTPC, which is today contributes 1.6% of their total generation from renewable sources. They have a plan to be 24.6% as far as renewable energy is concerned by 2032. I think the project plan of many of these companies are going to be adversely impacted. When you look at the industry, infrastructure and real estate, most workers in the construction industry are actually migrant workers. If you look at companies which are in the business of transmission tower, if you look at tall transmission towers, in many of those companies, in many of those projects, people who work at high altitude, you find them from specific villages of specific states. I think many of them will be going back to their villages or are going back to their villages. We are going to see big problem. And because of poor health care facilities for the people who work in the construction and real estate industry, I think this pandemic is going to create a big problem. You also find the property site visit is going to be an issue. Payment is going to be a big problem. Projects are going to be delayed. Searching for alternative sources of materials in the light of import problem from other countries is going to create a real big problem to delivery of projects on time. There will be impact on operations because the social distancing, which is creating fear among people, you would find even after this COVID-19 problem gets resolved, we are going to see problems in malls. Many malls, they depend on daily revenue to square off their rental charges. Social distancing will create fear. I think people would find it difficult to go to crowded places. We are going to see adverse impact on this business. I think all these problems also will create opportunity for our Make in India campaign. If you look at infrastructure and real estate projects, at least the big projects, the bidding process, especially in government projects, is very long. And if we do not do some real transformation post-COVID-19, we'll be in deep trouble. Many projects are finding it difficult to deliver on time. I think securing margin is going to be a big problem. Collaboration in many companies, even top companies, collaboration between engineering, procurement, contractors, technology collaborators, regulatory bodies, they do not have the right kind of digital platform. You also find in many of our projects, scope keeps changing, and because of lack of application which can track impact of delay in projects on cost and time, they would find it difficult. Many companies got islands of information system. They don't talk to each other. That's also going to create problem. Managing cash flow in project and to making projects cash flow positive is going to be a challenge. I think contract and risk management and application of force majeure in the contract is going to be an issue. But let's look at other industries because those industries are also going to impact infrastructure and the real estate projects. So if you look at pharma companies in India, pharma companies greatly depend on China for APIs. In fact, if you look at the APIs, 70% of countries' pharmaceutical raw materials are imported from China. And that supply chain is going to be impacted. And these APIs come to India, Indian pharma companies convert them into drugs, which get supplied to Russia, UK, the European Union, to United States and Africa, and many of these countries, the healthcare program which is there, they get influenced by the supply of drugs from India. especially generics. Automotive industry, where China accounts for 27% of India's automotive component import. I think that supply chain is going to be a problem. And when you look at, you know, what you call as the next thing I want to mention is the electric mobility program. Our electric mobility program has been very aggressive, very ambitious. Government has been very, very committed. And I think electric mobility program is going to be at risk because in many cases, electric vehicle manufacturing in India, you would find many companies import the motors from China, motor controllers from China, battery from China, battery management system from China, body of the vehicle from China, and what is done in India more like e-assembly. So it's like assembling of e-vehicles, which will now be at a big problem. Electronics industry, India's consumer electronics imports from China are around 43.2%. That industry will have problem. If you look at textile and apparel, 11 countries which buys 41% of India's cotton yarn, and they contribute 41% to our export of cotton yarn, they are having problem. You also find the supply chain in the textile industry in many cases is literally global. You have the Damas. If you look at Damas, the cotton comes from United States. It comes to, let's say, Madurai. Madurai, the factory converts the cotton that comes from US to yarn. Yarn is exported to Germany, and in Germany you convert the yarn into fabric, which goes to Austria, where coloring and printing happens. The final product goes to Africa. Now, this global supply chain will have problems. Now, if you look at our advanced management program for infrastructure, it is a 12-month program. It has been specifically designed for working executives, and the classroom learning is just 36 days in a year. It includes 16 weekends. So number of weekdays that you need to spend in the campus is very less, and every quarter is just 9 days. We also have online learning, self-study, people who do action learning projects where they try to convert the theories into practice over a period of 1 year. And there are some renowned industry speakers. They come and share their experience in the evening. Our first residency would start on 24th of July. It would get over on 2nd of August. It's going to happen in our Mohali campus, which is a world-class campus, world-class infrastructure. The second residency would happen only on 28th of November. Suppose the problem of COVID-19 does not get resolved by 24th July, our plan is to do the first residency online. Now, our entire PGP course right now is actually running online. The second residency is going to be from 28th of November to 6th of December. Then we would move to third residency, which is from Jan 38th to February 7th. And residency 4 will be from April 16th to April 25th. And that's going to happen in the Hyderabad campus. Now, friends, the focus of general management is in the first residency. Over here, one runs fundamental of economics, managerial statistics, which is becoming very, very important, how to do negotiations with different stakeholders, change management, managing teams, fundamentals of marketing, and fundamentals of finance. The second term, the second residency, we focus on infrastructure management. So one learns about infrastructure project management, infrastructure economics, social and environmental issues in infrastructure, contract management, fundamentals of real estate management. Then in residency 3, they learn infrastructure finance, infrastructure regulations, legal issues and dispute resolution, stakeholder analysis, advanced aspect of real estate management. In term 4, public-private partnership and strategic planning of infrastructure is discussed. We also have session which is on developing an entrepreneurial venture for infrastructure. We have a subject called digital transformation of infrastructure business. We have realized during this COVID-19 era that digital transformation of infrastructure business is extremely critical. Organizations are becoming intelligent. They are realizing the importance of using intelligent technologies like Internet of Things, big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence, advanced analytics, blockchain for contract management, and I think many jobs will be automated through intelligent technologies. And there'll be demand for roles which involve creativity and innovation. I think the workforce of the future, the competing forces are shaping 2030. Organizations can't protect jobs which are made redundant by technology and intelligent machines. Organizations expect employees to be agile, adaptable, and open to reskilling. Ability to learn new things is going to be very, very important. Now, I wanted to share with you that I think it is very important to understand management and managers and leaders. They just can't continue to do what they have been doing pre-COVID-19. Post-COVID-19, management is going to be very, very different. It will be extremely critical to reboot leadership knowledge. Now, I would like to request Minal Srinivasan, if she's on the line. She is an alum of the current cohort. She's the managing director of Kesari Infra Build Private Limited. Minal, if you are on the line, if you are able to share your experience, we'll be very happy. Are you on the line, Minal? Minal, can you unmute yourself? Minal Srinivasan? Can you unmute? Can you unmute? Can you unmute? No. So I don't hear Minal on the line, and I would just try to see if.
Hello, can you hear me, Chandan?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Hello. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead. Please go ahead. Can you go ahead? Minal, go ahead. We can hear you.
Hello.
Minal, go ahead. We can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hi, folks. Are you able to hear?
Yeah, we can hear.
Chandan, I'm present, but I'm just not able to. I'm talking. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Hi. So great folks to be talking to you. And Chandan, thanks for the introduction. So just to kind of briefly give you an idea of what I do, I run an environmental consultancy firm. called Casey Integral. It's an environmental consultancy and engineering firm, and I'm currently doing the AMPI course. So when I decided to join the Advanced Management program in infrastructure of ISB, I probably looked at the a three-pronged criteria of why and which course I should be joining. So one was what the school is about, what the institute is about. Secondly, the construct of the overall program. And third aspect I looked at is what is the anticipated return on my investment in terms of time and money in case if I join this, how would it be? So a little bit about my experiences with ISB. I think let's get on to the overall construct of the program and how does it flow. So as Chandan explained to you, it starts with the general management concepts of finance, marketing, etc., etc. Now, just looking at the relevance of these concepts which we are talking about, so whether you run your own enterprise or you're a leader in any organization, it's very important for you to understand what the basics of finance are, how can you do your marketing better, how do you negotiate better, and most importantly, in the current context of change management where our total lives have been topsy-turvy, I think it becomes very, very relevant. So for me, a lot of take home from these topics was, I'm able to run my organization much better and efficiently currently. So that's the part on general management. ISB as an organization or as a B school has been very research focused, and you actually see that getting reflected in the way the course has been constructed. So if you look at the other modules of, which are related to infrastructure, they go on building in complexity. So you start with the basics of infrastructure, then get on to essentials of infrastructure, and then the advanced topics in infrastructure industry. So that's about on the course part of it, the construct part of it. I think I was very impressed with the pedagogy of the course because it's a beautiful blend of face-to-face classroom learning and online learning, and also applications of what you learn back into your real life. Just to give you a small example, when we did a change management module, the assignment that was given to us was how do you apply what you've learned in your own organization? So at the end of the program, you just not only end up understanding the concept, but it makes you think, simulate your mind that whatever I've learned, how do I apply it back into my organization or my projects that I've done? So in that sense, it's very application focused. So I think the pedagogy is brilliant. I think even the faculties, I think we had one of the best faculties in terms of they are actually practicing consultants, practitioners in the industry. So we had somebody who's, was the MD of L&T, IDPL, who came and taught us contract management. There was so much to learn from them. And these are all global faculty. So you not only get to hear the Indian perspective, but also global perspective, which is now more relevant. And there's a very important component of action learning project, which I think is very interesting. You just pick up a particular topic, a real life problem from the infrastructure industry, and you start working on that, you do a project and then do the final presentation. So the overall course, I believe, whether it's a pedagogy, whether it's a faculty or the way it's structured, I think it's very, very relevant. That's what you want to learn and what are the takeaways that you have from the entire program. And most importantly, I would say, if you talk about the paraphernalia, the overall infrastructure of school is fantastic. I think Mohali campus, Hyderabad campus, both are world class in terms of whether it's your food or whether it's your lodging, boarding, etc., etc. And plus, I think there's a lot of fun that you have while learning. I mean, you get to do projects in groups. You get to, learn a lot from your peers and from your network. I mean, we had a classic blend of people across ages and from different industries and verticals. We had people from consulting background. We had people who are entrepreneurs like me who have been there. We had people, who have been leaders at different rungs of hierarchy in the organization. So there's a lot of take home that you have not only from the faculties, but also from your peers. And you build a fantastic network. I think in today's time, especially given the fact that we are going to be moving on to a virtual world, your network is your net worth, right? So ISB gives you an excellent opportunity to network with, varied kind of professionals from across the globe and also to learn from them. Personally, for me, if I would say, I think my third take of what was my anticipated return on investment. I think I can really see that I'm able to function better. The way I evaluate my competitors today, the way I manage my team, the way I look at my finances, I think the ISB program has truly impacted in the way I'm looking at all these things. So from my side, it's been a wonderful experience, and honestly speaking, I'm going to be missing ISB after the program.
Thank you, Meena. Thank you. Thank you. Now I move to Arun Mahajan, and he's an AMPI alum, AGM from Alpha Corp. Arun, are you on the line? Can you unmute and talk? Arun Mahajan, can you hear us? Arun Mahajan, can somebody help in unmuting Arun Mahajan? Arun, can you hear us? Arun, please go ahead. Can you talk?
I think he's not there.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we move on to Ridal. Is Ridal our AMPI alum, and she is Director, Digital Infrastructure Advisory. Ridal, are you on the line? Can you unmute?
Yes, I'm online. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely fine. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Lovely. Good. So good morning, everyone, and big thanks to Professor Chandan Chowdhury for giving me this chance to narrate my experiences of the AMPI course. So as has been explained, I am a director at the CRISIL Infrastructure Advisory. The core business of CRISIL is consulting in the infra space. So this course was actually absolutely apt for the kind of work that I do, because we deal across all different sectors of infra, which would include transport, logistics, urban, power, natural resources, and also looking at infra finance and public finance. So this course had elements of all of this, which gave me a very good overarching view and enabled me to perform much better in my job. Some of the things which I liked the most, one was the industry exposure. So the professors and the the teachers who came to teach us, teachers were all CXO level people, or people well advanced in the research section, and because of it, we actually got a very good hands-on insight on how industry working is happening. There was a very good balance between academic as well as practical exposure to the sectors. Some of the key things, because I came from a core technical background, wanted to move into management and finance. So some of the modules that really enthused me were contracts, regulations, finance, and also the fact that we were not restricted to one particular type of a sector. In that way, the course, while it was speaking about policy or while it was speaking about finance, was able to touch upon a different sectors. So we, in a span of a year, were able to understand the workings of power transmission, or let's say ports, or even let's say municipal finances. So this was clearly one of the highlights which really appealed to me.
Yes, Ridal, go ahead.
Agree. Oh.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I actually had, and I had zero disruption in my ability to complete my residency. So it was past experience, I think the best ones that with the country. And subsequent to completing the course, I have actually had a role change, and I'm being able to lead a much larger team on a large and diverse range of sectors. This for me, for my profile, this was one of the best choices that I have made, in my career. I think that's it from my side.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. I move to the takeaways. So if you look at the post COVID-19 era, expectations from managers and leaders would actually change. And you would find infrastructure and real estate sectors will face severe challenges, including cash crunch. And in order to survive in an increasingly competitive environment, we need to make our enterprises intelligent. And organizations can't protect jobs which are made redundant by technology and intelligent machines. Managers need to reboot their knowledge. And I think ISB's Advanced Management program, which is commencing on 24th July for infrastructure, I think it's a great opportunity for senior executives and middle-level executives who aspire to take up more senior roles to reboot their knowledge. So what we'll do now is we'll run a poll. I would like all of you to open your web browser and open the web link www.menti.com. You can do it from your smartphone or from your laptop, mobile, iPad. So if you have done that, then you need to enter code 557406. Now, you are going to see just 3 questions. We'll have 3 questions with multiple choices. Let me also get connected, and I hope you can see my screen. So on the screen, you actually see the first question. Will COVID-19 disruption accelerate digital adoption in India? So those who have been able to get connected on your smartphone. So do you think COVID-19 will actually accelerate companies' digital adoption processes? And would companies which in past did not believe in digital adoption and they are very slow, you think that process is going to be accelerated? And in fact, I think the life after COVID-19 is going to be quite different. The way people interact, the way people look at problems, even companies' policies regarding work from home may go through change. You'll find infrastructure companies will also start encouraging adoption of digital technologies. You would find people would realize the importance that technologies can play in helping people to collaborate. You would also find, as we move to normal, you may find that your productivity in traditional organizations, they found it very, very difficult to work in an environment where they are not physically connected. If you look at today's manufacturing industry and also real estate and infrastructure industry, you will find that many people jobs which can they do jobs that they can do from home, they are not able to do it just because they don't have the digital platform ready for collaboration. There is no reason as to why design cannot happen remotely. There is no reason as to why planning cannot happen remotely. There is no reason as to why one cannot virtually execute infrastructure and real estate project. So I think, post COVID-19 era is going to be quite different. So I move to the second question, which is, do you think the COVID-19 pandemic will be over by 30th of June 2020? We are in the end of March. Do you think problems are going to be solved? Well, you find that majority of the people think that problems are not going to be solved so quickly. It is going to take time. It is probably going to be a long haul to get back to normal. I move, another few seconds. I would move to my last question. My last question is, will the Indian economy recover in the next 6 months? Right. So I go back to our, another few minutes. In case you have any questions, we just have maybe, please, any question that you have, feel free to type it out, because we are going to download all the chat. And if you write your email ID in the question, we'll ensure that you get your response. Please feel free to type out your question. Please feel free to give your questions. We'll ensure that we respond. In case you have your question that comes later on, Yeah. So there are some people talking about will the job market change? I think you're going to see massive attrition, right? Even if you retain your job, there is no guarantee that 2 years down the line you will not have a similar problem again. Uh, I think the type of new viruses, bacteria, they are becoming smarter. Some of the old bacteria have learned how to fight antibiotics, viruses are learning how to fight vaccines. I think future is very, very unpredictable. And it is extremely important to reboot the knowledge, because the knowledge that you acquire, that's going to be your only equity, your only capital, which will give you flexibility, assurance, security. So I think future is very, very unpredictable. But I'm quite optimistic. I've seen many people over a period of last 15, 20 years who invested time not only in the job that they do, but who invested their time in upgrading their knowledge. They have been more secured than others who just did what they did, and they did over a long period of time the same job. I think the digital awareness, right? Digital is not going to be a niche skill. It is going to be a mandatory skill. So every manager, every leader must understand how to leverage digital technologies. So if you look at our content of the course and do a review of last 5 years, you will find over a period of time, a few things which have increased is actually appreciation about impact of digital on businesses, and people realize that they have to leverage digital as an enabler. The digitalization initiatives, I think you will see a huge acceleration in the digitalization initiatives. And so please feel free to write to us. I need to now sign off. Thank you for joining this call. Thank you.
Yeah, brilliantly. Friends, यहाँ पे सब बड़े बड़े